What are you guys, amateurs?
I don't know how to beep it.
You obviously haven't listened to it. You need to listen to more. You would know we are completely amateurs.
Equipment may look like we know what we're doing, but we don't.
Oh, okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 36 of the Slightly Serious Sign podcast. This episode is sponsored by, or voted number one by, I guess I should say.
Oh, is this my turn?
I'm passing it to you.
Is Besa right here. Paint. They sent this to us. We do not sell Besa paint. And we are also not GSG. However, Calvin sent it, so we're voted number one by Calvin, and he gets to sponsor this podcast since he sent us a hat that has GSG, our competitor, and Besa paint that we don't sell here. But so they get a little shout out.
We've been asking people to send us stuff, and instead we're getting our competitor's logo and a brand we don't sell sending us stuff, but none of our vendors sent us anything last week. So if you want to be on the minion, you can send us.
I do like this hat though. It
is kind of nice. Over your headphones.
Hold on.
All right. Well, while we're here, we have a guest. Big shout out first. We said first customer that we brought onto the podcast. So if you guys don't recognize him, if you're on video, you didn't watch our 12 Days of Christmas videos because it would be pretty obvious who he is.
Ho, ho,
Except
ho.
he has more clothes on than probably the last time you saw him in the video. So Tim Horvath, welcome to the podcast. Appreciate you being here.
Oh, man. Thank you guys for having me. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, Besa, for sponsoring this episode. We're going to talk nothing about paint. I never bought any paint from Wensco. So it's an absolute perfect combination for what we're doing today.
We couldn't sell it anyways, even if we didn't have it. So, or even if you wanted to buy it, we don't have it. So anyways.
Nice. No, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. We've talked about it for a long time, and we do some specialty stuff, so it's always fun to come on stuff like this and tell people what HDFive does and the crew back at the shop.
Yeah, perfect. So you're not new to the whole podcast. Most people that we bring on haven't done this before, but how many podcasts do you think you've already done?
Just last week we did two different live podcasts. I've probably been on 25 to 30 different podcasts. Being in the racing and motorsports industry, they're on the up and up. So with podcast, we're trying weekly stuff. And, for last week, it was a big race we have coming up in December, and we were promoting what we have coming out in the wrap industry for that race. So we're looking forward to all that stuff. And so it's always, different times of the year and different subjects. And it's pretty fun because this is the first time that I've actually done one that has something to do with what I really do. We wrap vehicles, we do the branding and appearance of motorsports and businesses across the country. And every other time it's like we're giving something away or we're doing something or promoting something. Yeah. So it's cool to have this opportunity. Yeah.
So, that leads into it. So, if you just want to go through, who are you, how long you been doing this, and what's your current shop?
Well, Tim Horvath, HDFive, you said, we've been doing this. So HDFive started out as Horvath Design. You guys remember that when I came in here 18 years ago now is when we started this company. And we specialize in motorsports design. It's my love and passion. I know most of the wrap industry will be like, oh, those race car guys, here we go. And everybody knows racing's a tough industry, but it's what got me into the wrap industry. And at HDFive, we specialize in the brand of a company. It's not just the wraps. It's the clothing, the apparel, the look, the feel. We started out as Horvath Design. That was just me. As we built and grew into a company and had employees, it was us. And when it became us, we changed from Horvath Design to HDFive. It was our brand. Everybody asked me, what's HDFive? I go, it's a lifestyle. We live it, we eat it, we sleep it, we breathe it. And it's all about branding companies to bring brand awareness, as everybody here understands that brand awareness is everything. And we built it into a company that's 8 employees and out of control and traveling the world. And
what's the 5 stand for?
Oh, I hate you.
What? I wasn't supposed to say that?
No, it's because everybody who asks me, it's the 5 things that we specialize in. That's wraps, apparel. We do some signs, logo design, and the last one's trophies. I haven't figured out how to put them in so that I can spitfire them out. So that's why I always say when somebody asks me that, like, I haven't learned how to say it real quick and fast. But that's why everybody's like, oh, what is it?
Well, we have this red S on our Wensco, and it's supposed to stand for what, Tyler?
Don't know.
It's like, I know it's not safety. Service. I don't even know what all the S's are. It's on our banner.
No, I just know that as soon as we came out with it, we also had a tagline that went with it. And then immediately everyone's like, yeah, we don't like the tagline. And
it was stupid.
And then we never used it again.
But see, I never knew that about Wensco and that S. I just always thought that it was, a just different
like
color. Yeah, just. So
Rick, do you know what it is? It's service.
It's like superior service.
Yeah.
That's the only one.
Safety. It has to be safety.
Yeah,
this place is completely about safety.
Yeah, they totally would have put safety in there.
But see, exactly. That's your guys' brand, right? And that brand recognition, like, to me, that's so important and able to grow a business is be able to look at that and see that name and not call it Wensco.
Well, it's gotten to the. Shout out to the guy that just called our How's My Driving on us and called us Wensco on How's My Driving.
Yeah. That's how we got started for the podcast. We'll listen to those.
Yeah. So we've gotten to the point where we can put like just our flags, and they don't even have to be the red and yellow flags. They can just be the 2 flags, and people, at least in our industry, know that that's us.
And that's your brand recognition, right? That's the most important thing in anything we're doing. That's wraps, right? You're putting the logos of a company on the side of a vehicle, or you can do color changes and whatnot. But in all honesty, the wrap industry started as an advertising industry. So your brand recognition is absolutely everything. Avery Dennison, their little A, Wensco, the flags, HDFive. So you asked about the handprint, really. The 5 comes from the handprint. And when we started this company, the handprint's always been a thing for me because it was my signature. When I did these works of art, when I put the graphics on these race cars, to me, it was artwork. And so I'm putting the artwork on there, but I could never sign my signature on them. So the signature came from the handprint. And so that's what it all started on. It's like, that's my signature. We always put our sticker on last because that was the final piece to the puzzle. So it's like that brand recognition.
Yeah.
So Tyler, you might know this too, but the listeners won't know this. We have some history prior to signage.
Wow.
Tim and I.
That's funny.
There used to be a place I used to run right here in town.
Away from him.
Craig's Cruisers.
I just think it's funny because I didn't send him the questions. And the first question is, okay, how do we know each other? Is literally the first question.
Well, we know each other from, so years ago, I managed the fun park here in Grand Rapids, Craig's Cruisers. And you hired a bunch of kids from high school because everybody wanted to work there. And one particular kid couldn't stop coming in drunk. He's 17 years old. He come to work drunk to work the go-kart track.
He's only half true there. It's not.
It wasn't every time?
No, because I would come from my other job, and I was the only one with special criteria of when I could start. They started at 4 o'clock. And if you weren't there, you couldn't work there. But I didn't get out of my other job till 6 o'clock. And then I worked construction with a bunch of construction workers that had to go to the bar. And next thing you know, I'd show up to Craig's Cruisers taking care of these kids in go-karts. And Mike is my manager.
So that's why you had to show up that way.
Yeah, let's just say the same safety rules used to apply back then too.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, those all-nighters.
Yeah.
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 That wasn't water in that water bottle. We just had that conversation.
If somebody boards a plane with 2 water bottles, it's never a good sign.
Yeah.
Or it could be a good sign. Depends.
I showed up to Craig's Cruisers with 2 water bottles.
I was like Uncle Kimbo that goes to the racetrack and when you couldn't bring alcohol, he'd dump it out and then fill it up. And as soon as you walked in the door, he's 1-0. You keep track how many times you get in with his alcohol.
Oh man. Yeah. So you ask, actually, realistically, the Hall family has gone back, I mean, to the racing days with the family, and the Horvath family at Berlin Raceway is really MJ, Dave, the whole family I've known for years. So then when Craig's Cruisers came around and Mike's the manager, good fit racers, family of racers. And then one day I showed up here thinking I was going to start a graphics company, and who walks out of the back room? There's Mike Hall. I go, I just can't get rid of him. No matter what I do in life, he's just here.
Yeah. So you've been doing business with Wensco for 18 years now?
We're going on 18 years.
Yeah, started with a small cutter. Yep. And then now you have a ton of equipment.
Oh my God. It's
probably not enough though.
Probably not enough. Probably, you know what? I think I need more space before I can add more equipment is my problem. But you're right. I started 24-inch cutter, cheap, whatever. And I was just cutting vinyl and doing race car layered vinyl. Realistically, I should have been wrapping vehicles from day one. I was doing stuff with cut vinyl that people are like, how are you accomplishing this? Like, I tell everybody I know, I'm like, the cut vinyl industry was, for me, I was making wraps out of cut vinyl, and it was like next level stuff. And then that cutter started to break, got a Roland, went with Roland, and that was cool. Came here, they upgraded me, they helped me out. We kept on the cut vinyl train, and then I saved up enough to where we bought our first printer from Wensco, of course. And I remember you guys delivering it. And when you delivered it, literally put it in the shop and said, we know what you did with that 30-inch cutter. We can't wait to see what you do with this printer, because we know that you're going to do next level stuff. So they delivered that, and now we have 3 printers, looking at another new one from Roland coming up. We have 2 rollover tables. We have a flatbed CNC machine. We have embroidery equipment, screen print equipment. Somebody asked me the other day that if I ever walked in my office and just looked around and was amazed by what's happened. And I tell them every day when I shut the lights off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy with especially like when we brought the first one there, because that's what we talked about a podcast earlier about selling small equipment, right? So cutters or any small printer, right? Where it's like the value to sell you that machine usually is not worth it. And also because usually the person you're selling something that small to doesn't usually have any idea what they're doing, right? Usually It's like, I'm going to have 1,000 questions, right? But your goal is like, we're going to sell you this hoping that like, you're going to take this and run with it, right? And not everyone does. So it's cool when it's like, start as small as humanly possible, right? Not even printer, start just cutter and then scale up to all the equipment you have now.
And I remember bringing those first printers. That was when Roland used to have like, there was, I think there was more pride in what the printer actually looked like, because that was that big, stainless steel or metal or whatever. So it was silver, it was shiny, it was nice. It's not like the ones now where they're kind of dull, and it was like you brought it in, it was like, oh, look at this. Like brand new. Is like, it was the XR. So I was like, oh, this is nice. So, and now you bring them in, they're like, they still look good, but they don't look like the XR used to look. The XR was like, oh, look what you have.
Yeah, no, had a Pro Series in a while.
So. Like, it's a beam of light came down on this printer, and like, I mean, everybody was there when we delivered that one. I feel like the whole shop came over and was like, well, we're going to Horvath's place, and even Judy, it was her first install of a printer, and she's like, comes over, and then of course Mike's like, hey Judy, there's a Feller's magazine on the table, and I'm like, don't show Judy that. Like, and it was just back in those days I was learning. I didn't know. Hey Tim, buy a printer. Oh yeah, by the way, all the stuff that you've done your entire life in the sign industry no longer goes in the printer. So it's like, I didn't realize like you had to buy all this material now. Like, yeah, here's your starter kit, but we burned through that screwing stuff up, and it completely changed the industry for us, because now we brought it to that next level. But it's funny when you say like you want to sell a cutter hoping that they turn into what we have. I remember one time I was standing at the front desk, and I got to give out a shout out to Yolanda and Denise. Like, those two ladies here at Wensco, when I was just that kid that was coming in here, they were the first, showing me color books and showing me like just this different stuff that I had no clue what I was doing. And you're hoping I'm going to be that guy. Well, years later, a couple kids were in front of me getting color swatches and stuff, and I literally walked up to Denise and I go, remember when that was me? And she was like, she couldn't believe, and she goes, I do remember when that was you. And it just continued to evolve and be better. And it's everybody here at Wensco, really, because how many times do I call Tyler, Mike, Tater Chip out back? Like, I lean on you guys so much because I have no clue. I'm learning on the fly,
It's such a good characteristic to have for a shop, though, because there's so many times where the call that you're giving us is after, right? They did the install and they're like, hey, this isn't working. And you're like, yeah, it's not the right stuff. Like, if you'd asked, then we could warn you, but instead you already have done it. Like, sure, now I can give you the right stuff. But yeah, I mean, like, Kayla emailed me 2 days ago. It was like, hey, do you have this specific thing? Like, oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's test it first before we buy it. Right. And that's make sure it works. But
that's a big thing that I don't think enough people understand, is that the people in this industry are here to help you before you screw up. So if you're not utilizing these people, it's not just sales. You're not just sending a sales guy out to sell me the machine, even though you want me to buy 1 million machines. You're sending somebody out with some knowledge to help us grow the company. And I think that's like a huge thing, starting out small and understanding. We answered a question the other day online. Somebody asked, a group we're involved in, who can run their entire shop by themselves? I was probably one of like 5 out of thousands of people that I read. Oh, I can design, but I can't install, or I can print, but I can't design. And there's so much to this industry that people don't understand. And I was probably one of 5 people that I read that said I could run the whole shop, and I can run my whole shop simultaneously. I know how long the printer takes to print. I know how long the roll-to-roll laminator is going to go. I know how long the embroidery is going to go, the CNC machine, and I can sit there and literally run the whole shop. But it all comes from having that knowledge of vinyl, understanding the machine, understanding before I go in. And don't get me wrong, I preach this to people that are starting in the industry. You are going to screw up. 18 years into it, I still have to reprint wraps. I still have to. We
like that.
I know. Every time I call and I'm frustrated. It's like, oh, Tim did this one. Yeah. But that is the industry, right? It is about learning every single day, and creating something amazing takes patience and understanding of what you're using.
Yeah. And some of it is, I just had a conversation with a buddy yesterday, and his wife works for someone that's kind of in our industry. And he's like, I have all these bosses that tell me what to do, but they don't even know how to do it themselves. And this is where, like, you need to know, like, and the same thing, where you got to know what their job entails. Like, so you're telling them, hey, I need you to print this, or I need you to laminate this. And you know how to print and laminate, you know how to do that stuff, but it's easier for you to tell them how to do it, knowing that you know how to do it also. And hey, it's only going to take 12 minutes. So 2 hours later, when they're like, oh, that's how long it takes. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Even like, we talk about like our competitors too. Like, I don't know a lot of them that could run a print shop. And if you had an idea of like the stuff that we do here, like I've pretty much used even currently, with the exception of this machine, probably that's sitting right here, I think would be the only exception to that.
It's going to be Horvath's new machine.
I mean, it could be. They're pretty nice.
I'm not signing any paperwork. We're leaving this place today. Okay.
We've run everything. I mean, I personally ran probably 12 of the machines that are in there, just to give you an idea. Like, before we're going to go out and either sell it to you or have already sold you one, you're going to call and ask questions. It's at least a good idea to know a starting point, right? I don't need to know everything, but I should at least know the baseline, right? To be like, hey, if you have this very basic question, we shouldn't have to reach out to the vendor to be like, hey, how do I adjust the pinch rollers?
That is a huge thing. What you just said there is the starting point. Most people don't even have a starting point. They're just going in there. One of my very first cutters was just a cheap cutter, right? And I was having problems where it would cut to a certain point and then it would just screw up. It would just go on a tangent of just lines and cuts across and it would shoot out. I was doing neon pink vinyl, and I'm sitting there going, I can't afford this. I can't afford this. And I'm going crazy, right? I found out that the USB cord couldn't transfer data fast enough. So it would get to a point where it had no data and then it would go haywire. And so then that's when I started learning about cords. Like, you have to have a starting point when you're trying to find a problem or trying to be better. So for like us at the shop, I tell everybody, I go out there and when I weed, they're like, how do you do it so fast? I go, 18 years. I go, you will learn how to pull different ways because you have to learn, but you have to start by understanding that you take an X-Acto, go through the center and pull one up and you will get faster. Don't try to beat me. Don't try to keep up with me. Just do it at your pace and make sure it's right every single time. And it starts with that starting point. It starts with just a little bit of knowledge and you will learn how to get yourself to be faster.
Yeah. You got to know at least enough to know when you're doing it wrong. And I think sometimes even that's especially, I mean, in this industry, in the wrap industry specifically, sometimes I don't even think people know they're doing it wrong, right? I've seen 2 videos online and then they're like, yeah, we got this figured out.
YouTube certified.
Oh. Yeah. Heat and mash certified, baby.
Heat and mash.
You know what? You know what's crazy though? I literally learned so much of the design and print industry off from YouTube, right? But we've gotten to a point where it's not YouTube anymore. It's TikTok. It's 10-second videos from a guy who really doesn't know what he's doing. And people believe that they know what they're doing.
Yeah. We call it heat and mash. Heat it up, mash it in.
Certified.
Yeah, heat and mash certified.
I'm telling you, the game has changed. We've discussed it a million times. The wrap industry continues to change. And right now it's not changing for the better. It's changing for the views. Like, everybody thinks that they can wrap a car and do a color change on a car. Good luck. Yeah. I can't wait to see how it turns out for you, because you might be able to do a door.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you'll get to something like a fender or a front bumper or a roof that is a ball shape. You like, good luck.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem you're running into especially with the new technology of the vinyl, it's actually relatively easy to get it down. That's actually become the problem, is like, even to do some of that more difficult stuff, like if you use enough heat, you'll probably get it down. Like it will probably go to where you want it to go.
For a day.
Yeah, if that. But the problem is it's already gone. They're not looking at it again unless it's their own color, which then, okay, cool.
Chad told me a few years back when, the wrap industry was really starting to come to life. We were talking and he goes, my job is not to change the color of your car. My job is to make it last.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me when we go and do these vinyl wraps, is like, that's the truth. My job is not to have this thing come back into my shop, because we stand behind everything we do. My job is to put it on there and make that thing look good for 5 years. And to do that, you have to do it properly.
Yeah.
And prepping is proper, installs proper, heating is proper, post heating is proper. Like, and you watch that TikTok video where the guy's like, check this out, it's done. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Like my truck mirrors.
Yeah, your truck mirrors are bad. They're getting worse too.
And I'll admit it. Like, there's some things I can do. There's some things I don't have the patience to do. However, I can get as much vinyl as I want. I just got to make a phone call. Hey, I need some more red.
That's true.
So I can put it on every.
I do that, but I
put it on every 2 weeks.
I always get this bill.
We like when you do that. We like when you do that.
Yeah. If you're a customer, you can also get whatever you want.
Yep.
As long as you pay for it.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
So mine don't have to be down temporary, because
yeah,
like as soon as they start peeling back, you peel them off. I put them on again.
Hey.
So I use heat and mash for the mirror. The truck mirrors are heat and mash.
I'm telling you right now, some of my race car drivers, they're temporary because we know that we're putting new ones on tomorrow.
Without a doubt.
Waste our time here.
Yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow to do it again.
We understand our client for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. So we kind of talked about obviously a lot of what you did, how you got here. Do you want to talk about, I know you just had a sweet job that you got to do. So one of the questions I wrote down was the coolest thing you've had the opportunity to do.
I don't want to tell people this, but I did get these questions before I sat down, and I only glanced at them because I enjoy the moment, right? I'm one of those people that is big in the moment, but this was the question that just ate me alive. And I say that because it's easier for me to tell you all of the dumb, boring stuff I do. I literally flew in last night from the F1 race. I was down at COTA for Racing in the Americas. I got to go to the F1 race. I got a VIP pass for the paddock. I got to walk, mingle with the celebrities. And that's all stems from graphics. Like, it started you don't just get a VIP pass from Aston Martin. They don't just hand them to you unless you're a sponsor. A buddy of mine, as a buddy works for Aston Martin, said, "Hey, I got VIP passes for you. Are you in?" Like, unbelievable, right? Went down and did that. I tell you what, like the rap industry, the people you meet, the places you go, the stories. We always have a story. You guys come back from a show, we have a story of sat down and talked with this guy or did this. Like, for me, every single day is going to be something cool. There's no doubt. Like, I'm blessed by that. But for one of the coolest things as of late that we have gotten to do, we got to do the trophy for the Milwaukee Mile. So we're here located in Grand Rapids. We designed, manufactured, and delivered the trophy to Milwaukee for the NASCAR Truck Series. When we built it, we're like, we got to do something cool with this. Let's take the ferry across Lake Michigan. How cool would that be? So literally drove up to Muskegon, jumped on the ferry, cruised across to Milwaukee. You're 15 minutes from the racetrack once you get off the boat, and hand delivered my very first NASCAR trophy. Like, mind explosion. When did we get here kind of moment? And one of my employees, Kayla, who we've mentioned already, she goes, "Horvath, do you ever just sit there and be like, how did we get here?" Oh, we said that this weekend when we were on the racetrack watching the victory celebration. How did we end up here in this moment? And like, that's what we live for at HDFive. Like, everybody there lives for those moments. And for me, delivering that trophy, going to victory lane, you might have seen the video of it, but Lane Riggs, it was his first time winning in the truck series. He throws his arms up in the air, throws his shoulder out of place. They have to pop his shoulder back into place before he goes to victory lane. Like, this whole thing. And then there sits a piece of artwork that we've created that not only myself, but me, my team, we all had a part in it. And to go and do that kind of stuff, it's like, this is what the rap industry has brought to me. You know, like, it isn't always about how much money you make. It's literally about how the experience goes. Like, how do you take it to that level of like, oh, we could have just drove around Lake Michigan. We could have we couldn't have put it on UPS. They would have.
Did you sit in the VIP section where you have a beer or two?
Where at?
On the ferry?
I only sit where I can have a beer, but I did. We were in the private
Was
cabin.
the lady that was working like 102 years old?
No, she wasn't.
Oh, that's when we just did that. Were you with me? You weren't with me. We just did the ferry. I think the lady was 102.
Did you?
Was serving us a beer.
Did you? I truly enjoyed it.
It was awesome.
I thought that the ferry across, we went up top, took photos. We actually got the girl who was our server. She took the trophies up to the bridge and had the captain outside taking photos with the trophy. I'm like, who's steering this ship? You know? And it was 10 out of 10, had the truck on the boat. We watched the weather. we heard horror stories of it. We watched the weather. It was going to be a clear day. We're like, we were going, like we're in. I would recommend if you've never done it or, you know, never experienced something like that. Like I said, we could ship it. We could go around Lake Michigan, but how cool is it to just have that experience of us getting on, you know?
And it seems complicated, but it's very simple. I mean, simply get in line, drive your truck on. They park you really tight, really close.
Oh yeah.
Like here certain people have to go to time, but yeah, it's a really good experience to do. And it's pretty simple. I mean, it's really simple.
And Lake Michigan is absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, when you get out there, you can't see land on both sides.
You know, you get that Lake Michigan smell too. Like when you're up there, it's like, you know, that's Lake Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah.
For those that don't know, Lake Michigan's a big body of water that looks like an ocean, but it's actually a lake.
It's fresh water.
It's fresh water.
Yeah. Get the beeper ready. I used to live in Florida. So I'm like, you know, everybody's like, what's Lake Michigan like? It's kind of like the ocean, but doesn't taste like
yeah. Well, that's
it. Like you go swimming in it and
we've had a lot of employees because we always do a summer party up here. They'll come and what do they want to do? They want to go see Lake Michigan. And they're like, you really can't see across it. And for us, we're like, no, but like, they're like, you know, a lake you should be able to see across. And obviously Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, all our lakes around here, you can't see across. So,
and when you're on that boat, like once you get out and it sets sail, like you get to a point where you can't see either side.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking and I have it on one of our posts that we posted, and there's my GPS dot in the middle of Lake Michigan, and it's just, you can't see either side. And it's just a really cool feeling. You wouldn't know that you were on a lake. You would think you were on the ocean.
Yeah. What I wanted to say earlier when you're talking about all this fun stuff is, you got to remember not to take it for granted too. Like I've got to do just a ton of fun stuff. And now since just recently, like Tyler got to go to Vegas with me, Tristan's been able to go to Vegas with me. And like, you have to remember, like, not everybody gets to do this. You know, when people talk about like, oh, you got to go to Vegas 8 times, it must be great in the last couple of years. And then you think back like, man, I can't take that for granted. Like there's stuff that you get to do that nobody gets to do. Like, I shouldn't say nobody gets to do, but like you're doing it for free. Like we sat at the Lions game on the end zone, you know, like, like there's things that we've done where it's just like,
that's the most deep Mike Hall's ever been with me right there.
Like, ever, baby.
But its reality is I enjoy what I'm doing, and I don't take for granted. Like, you know, last year we stayed at that Don Cesar hotel, the big pink hotel in St. Petersburg. Like, it's just like, man, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why am I sitting right here? And
they don't give people like me, like if F1 did any type of research on me before I entered their paddock, F1 would have probably been like denied. Like this guy, I felt like I was like, not fit in, these people are spending millions of dollars to be there. And here I am wandering around, and you're 100% right. The entire time I'm there, I'm thanking God for how grateful I am to live this experience. Thanking the people at my shop. Like we have a big thing at the shop. Everybody asks me like, how do I keep my group so tight knit? And you'll never hear me say HDFive's Tim Horvath. I changed the name of my company because it wasn't Tim Horvath. Tim Horvath might be the guy who's the face of it, who started it. But if it wasn't for those people behind me, like I am so grateful for the crew back at the shop. I'm so grateful for the experiences. Like you have got to 100% understand it, because if you don't, sooner or later, this world will get you out of there real quick, you know? So I appreciate, and that's the thing, right? You look at it every day, you wake up and people take for granted opening their eyes, you know, in real life, that there's people like that. And it's like, you know, experiences and what the wrap industry has brought to the table for me and my family and my friends. Money can't buy what I've done in the industry. It's unreal.
Yeah.
The other thing I thought, like your best moment, your most favorite thing, or the coolest thing you did, wasn't it? It wasn't our video, wasn't our Christmas video. You forgot about it?
No, I haven't. No, because it's always brought up to me because somebody has recently seen it.
He has PTSD about it. That's actually the problem.
You know what? When they came back and robbed my place and took my pants back, that's the problem I have right now. Because I mean, still to this day, somebody the other day was like, I seen a video of you. And I'm like, Was I wearing American flag shorts?
Ho, ho, ho.
It's like, that's exactly the video we seen, So, that was a good moment.
We talk about this. We get this happens to Tyler and I now, that like a lot of people from the sign industry see this podcast and they come up to us like they know us. We don't know who you are. You might know us because you see us once a week and see us, but like, we don't know you.
I need that warning ahead of time. Hey, Tyler. And you're just like,
so
I have no idea who this person is.
you'll learn real quick. I'm 18 years into this industry with motorsports. I'm 35 years into motorsports in my family, or 38 years with motorsports in my family, right? You'll learn how to say, hi, buddy. How's it going?
That's exactly right.
I mean, I learned that in the racing industry because I won't mention the driver's name, but I've never met this driver. This driver heard of me, but never met me face to face. And so when I went up and talked to them, they talked to me like they've known me for years. And I'm just the whole time going, you never even met me. So I learned how to pick up those things now that you guys are getting that. When I go to a racetrack, they're like, oh, Horvath, what's going on, man? I'm like, hey, good to see you. How's the family?
I don't know you.
Yeah, you got to just ask a couple quick questions, you'll understand, you'll get there.
Yeah. It's different. But so you talked about kind of all the opportunities you've had. So one of the questions I wrote down was, how did you think you were able to grow so successfully? But I want to lead with the caveat of like, I think what we've seen from our side of things in terms of customers who have grown big is a lot of the times you have customers that, right, they don't want to work with other shops, right? They're really picky about what business they do or picky about what they charge, or they're never going to do anything that isn't their whatever rate they want to charge. And I think we've seen a lot of people that, one, it's networking too, huge, right? But besides that, it's kind of the willingness to do things completely outside of the norm or that you wouldn't typically do, or
scared to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like your shop's not scared to say, hey, we don't know.
Yeah. And, so on our side of things, that's what I'm saying is I think what we're seeing is what, from my side, I see somebody who kind of was able to network, was able to work with other shops to get business, as well as kind of grow inside of one specific niche and then kind of scale out from there. That's what we see. But what do you think?
I mean, you're absolutely correct. I think we kind of have these conversations with the industry and your competition and this person's competition, and you don't get, like, when it comes to building a brand or building a company, you have got to rely on other people. I've never been able to do it myself. One of the biggest ones is Dave over at Kendall Signs. I talk about Dave all the time. He's become one of my really good buddies. I met Dave by walking into his shop and asking for him to print a file for me when I started because I didn't have a printer. Dave and I are still very good friends, even though I don't even know if he does signs anymore. Normally he's on the golf course when I talk to him.
So do you know that,
I see orders coming through, and every time I look on Facebook though, he's not in his shop at all.
No, he's winning trophies on the golf course.
Yeah, I don't know how he's got time.
I have a history with Dave too. Like I've known Dave since we were, middle school. He went to Sparta, and then going away. So I've known him since middle school too. So
no way.
So it's one of those things where it's
and it just continues to become full circle with the Hulls and the Horvaths. But Dave, I was living in Wyoming at the time, and it just happened to lead me to Kendall Signs, and walked in there, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even know how to design this. And that relationship continued to evolve, and he calls me on things and I call him on things, and we still do business together to this day. And that had to have been in the first couple of years of being in business. So 15 plus years that we've built that relationship. Like, I think you're 100% correct when it comes to, we are not scared to get a phone call. Hey, so-and-so's printer went down and you have one.
That happened.
Yeah, that's a real life story. Yeah. Can they come over or give your phone number? And I'm like, yeah, do it. And they come into our shop and sit there. And the thing is with us, like, we're not afraid to show you what we're doing because you're already years behind us. Like, because I know what it takes to do it right. That is my motto at the shop, right? to do it right the first time is the only way. Like that is our motto, because when you're doing it right, you're not cutting corners. You're not having to do it again. I don't care if it takes twice as long. You don't have to do it twice as long twice.
Yeah.
So being that person, like when they send somebody in and, oh, aren't you scared that they're going to come in and steal your ideas? I'm like, they knock me off on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I have, not to toot my own horn or not to sit here and sound cocky or arrogant, but I have won a lot of awards for best appearing race cars, best appearing vehicle wraps. I have won so many different high-end awards for this industry that I turn around and I look at it and it's like, for these people, I'm always giving back, right? And I'm always, and for instance, one of my biggest knockoffs was an ugly Christmas sweater car. I won a best appearing car award in the country for the biggest race of the season down at the Snowball Derby. That car was knocked off by Miller Lite and Brad Keselowski in the NASCAR. They knocked off my, the next 2 weeks later, they had a design. And it's like, and I look at them and I'm like, I send them a message. I'm like, I love it. Thank you. I know what I'm going to step up and do better next time. And then the next time comes. And, you know, I love that part of this industry. And I think that's what makes me a lot different than most sign companies, because a lot of sign companies, oh, I don't know them. Oh, they're competition. Oh, we can beat that price. Like, you don't quit downgrading people, you know, like, come in, check it out. Let me show you how I did it. Let me see how you did it. And you grow that way. You don't belittle.
Well, even as I sit here with a Besa hat on and GSG is probably facing the camera, like Base is, you know, the competitor to our Matthews paint that we sell.
Also out there.
And GSG is a competitor to us internally, does the same thing we do. So, but I'm friends with them. Like they're all right.
And that's what makes it better, right? And I think sometimes we all get caught up in the competition. I mean, I'll probably get in trouble, and I try not to do this, but I probably get in trouble because you guys here don't wear apparel from other companies because you don't want them to think, oh, we're biased towards companies, which is great. Right. But you know how many times they're delivering and Horvath, can I get a hat? Or Horvath, can I get a shirt? Like, I want to wear it out. Like, I want to, and it's not that you're supporting just me, you're supporting the company who's doing really cool things and you're at the racetrack. Like, I think a lot of people forget, like, if I came in here and you're wearing something that was of somebody else's, I would give you a little bit of crap about it. But in all honesty, I love seeing that kind of stuff because I'm always looking at, like, oh, let's see what we can do better. Let's see what's more in, or, you know, and I think I think that's what made HDFive where they're at today, is that level of giving compliments to people who deserve them and understanding that we're all in this world together. Like, it's just that, because I can tell you, there's a couple wrap shops here in Grand Rapids. They have nothing good to say about me, and I've never met them once. They've never called me. They've never nothing. And they have nothing. I've heard through the grapevine, nothing good to say. For what? Why do you hate us so much? Oh, because we're doing it a little bit differently than you, and you've never tried.
Yeah. The reality is, we've said this before on the podcast, we're all just people, right? Like, and you know, that's a lot of our marketing is like, we're just people. We're here to have some fun, you know, make some money in the process, but like, we're here to grow a company. But like, ultimately, you got to have fun when you go to work. You got to enjoy what you do. And we do here. Obviously, you see our videos, you see all that stuff. You know us well. Like,
you know,
we're here to have a good time.
You know exactly why you call me, is because I have no problem laughing at myself.
Yeah.
You know, my crew has no problem laughing at you guys, laughing at me, you know, like, and that's I think in the world, I think it's a world problem, right? It's always competition is my favorite thing in the world. I just got behind the wheel of a car just a couple weeks ago, went racing, and I just couldn't wait to get out there. It's competition. I'm going to go win. That's all I want to do. But in all honesty, we got out of the car with a guy I raced side by side with, high-fiving each other. And it's like, competition's good and it brings out the best in people, but it doesn't have to be downgrading. And I think that's the big thing that we all miss in life is we're humans. Hey, it's okay to say, hey, that's cool. I want to do that. Like, I want to try something like that. And
yeah, I mean, literally this just happened where, Rick and Bonnie were talking about, I don't remember how this came up. We were talking about doing, concert t-shirts. And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. I said, except GSG literally just did it. And I thought, dang it, that's a great idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that first. And, but I think that's what it comes down to. It's like, not like, oh, we're going to steal that idea for them, or, oh, I can't believe they did. They're just like, shoot, I got to do better at this. That's a great idea.
I mean, we talked about like some of our competition has stole a lot of our ideas. Yeah. Like we see them printing the exact same printer or the exact same sticker we were printing at a show. Yep. Wait a minute, that is completely. It's not just like it's not clip art they're printing. They're printing our sticker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, at least a version of it.
A version of our sticker. Yeah, like, 100%. Are you serious? All they did was pull out the Wensco and put in the Grimco. Oh, wait, did I say that?
Grimace.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
So and you're 100% right. Like you have, and
we don't get mad about it. We're just like,
obviously we did it right.
Obviously we did it right. And they liked it, and then people said, "Hey, we like that sticker, whatever it might be." And the same things happen. 3M stole our idea. One of our things we did at a show idea, and we're not mad about it. Like, it's just like, you know what? Then that means we had a good idea. And we were first to it. And if someone wants to copy us, that's the best form of flattery was when they copy you.
That's the
we're
thing.
Also still going to make fun of you for it.
Oh, yeah, we're
obviously going to bring it up on the podcast.
We are 100% going to be like, you knocked us off. Okay. We deal with it right now in the racing industry. Our trophies are all so next level. And then we have these guys who are out there and they're just knocking us off left and right. But the guys who all started it, the companies that started this kind of style, we're all in talks with each other. Yeah. We're all like cheering each other on. What's the next thing? And these other guys are over here going, oh, we were the first to do this. No, you weren't. We did that 8 years ago. Like, what are you talking about? We got
receipts too.
And so we always sit there and that's it. In this industry, there's a lot of copying. There's a lot of people knocking each other off. Well, you turn around and you go, hey, come check out my shop because you're 6 years behind me. Yeah. You are so far, and that's us, right? When I bought a cutter and when I bought a printer, like, what are you going to do with it? Well, you ever think that I was going to have 3 printers and multiple rollover tables and have this?
I have faith in you.
Just a little. It wasn't like a lot.
Beep that out. Beep that. Can you shut that off?
Fact check on that one.
There's a red check mark next to that. A red X.
Information may not be valid.
Oh, here's the piece of paper signed for the new printer. Mike, you remind me of a gentleman's club. You want to know why? You know how to get my wallet, okay? Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, with this, you're talking about you doing it first. Everyone kind of knows that you've done it right. I think what people don't also realize is that everyone talks. Yep. And I mean that across the board, right? So like what you're saying is you're doing a bunch of race cars, right? And you're getting a bunch of commercial work. And I think people are thinking those are two separate things, right? But the reality is, the people that are putting race teams at the racetrack probably own a decent amount of businesses, right? Which is how a lot of that business is going through.
Oh, I tell every single person, like they tell me how stupid I am doing race cars. Race cars are not a wrap to me. Race cars are a business card because every single company on the side of that race car needs what I offer.
Yeah.
So when I'm out there, like, So we get it a lot, right? We get it a ton of these people. Racers don't have money. They want stuff for free. They never give back, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're dealing with the wrong people. So we go out there and when we're training installers, they're using knives on race cars. I don't care. You can cut into to a race car because it's going to be torn up anyway. But learn how to use your knife on that race car. Try to be better. Try not cutting through the vinyl. And that's how we start people. You can't start people by putting them on a Lamborghini. You have to start people by giving them a go-kart and say, screw this up. And I think that people don't understand that in the industry is they build these companies to be, well, we only do this one thing, kind of like you had mentioned. We only do this one thing. But in all honesty, when you're talking about doing something, we never got rid of the little person who made us who we are today. That little person came to us with a sticker that taught us how to do something. So now when somebody walks in the shop and says, I have a little sticker job, it goes to one designer that's learning how to build. And you have got to learn how to talk to a customer. You got to learn their wants, their needs, how they're going to be before I give you the $500,000 customer. It's just, so people kind of fail to understand that just because you did one or two little stickers for somebody, we're never going to be big enough to say no to that. We're going to find somebody to take care of that for us.
Yeah, so same here. We never let anything change us, right? Like it's like even our marketing, like why we're a little bit different than everybody else is like, we're not the corporate. I was never going to be the corporate guy. Never. Yeah.
Right.
Like, and as I got more in charge, like I'm still not going to be the corporate guy. We're going to change it. We're going to change our appearance to match so we can be who we are. Yeah. And you've done the same thing. Like we're not going to become, we're only going to do this or that because that's not who you are.
That's the thing, right? I'm not politically correct by any signs of the imagination. Like I'm
always politically correct.
I sat down at this table today and I said, you better have the beeper ready and you're right. Cause you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. And I'm that way. And I've always been that way. You guys know it. You guys come in the shop and I'm down for that. Right. But it is the industry changes. We're okay with that, but don't let it change the person you are. And because we're all human, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have problems in life. But at the end of the day, when we're smiling and laughing at each other, that's the greatest thing ever is like for us, like I walk in this and everybody goes, oh God, Tater Chip just walked in. I mean, before this and it's like, we're just scraping the bottom of the barrel, ain't we? And it's like, and I wouldn't have that any other way. I wouldn't, because that means where I come from, that means you guys like me. Yeah. Like, because if we ain't picking on each other, they like, hey, have a good day. Like, we're just like, that guy again, know, like, and I appreciate that. Like, that's that family. That's what you guys, that's here at Wensco. Like, that's the family atmosphere, right? The Judy, she messaged you this morning and was like, tell Horvath, ... I'm not going to say what she said.
She said, tell Horvath, watch his language.
and why would she say that, Mike?
Well, because you're known as F-Bond Tim over here.
Yeah, and why is that?
I don't know, because you have problems.
You don't remember this? The one time that you and Judy were traveling across the state and I didn't know I was on speakerphone and Judy was in the car. And about 15 minutes into the conversation of me mother effing everything, Judy goes, well, Tim, that's some very colorful language.
It happens. Well, I do remember the first time that because she went on that install, and I remember walking into your shop. I walked right into your office. I started rummaging through your t-shirts. I grabbed one. I took mine off. I put yours on, and she's like, "Is this how you treat every customer?" I said, "Yep, pretty much."
This is it.
If they have shirts in here, I'm going to get my own shirt and we'll put it on right in their shop.
Right, and that's you feel like you're at home. Right? You guys come into the shop, you don't feel like you're, and that's what we try to do with all of our customers and friends and family. And we've been talking a lot about it, of our voice, the way our voice is. And you have to understand that when you work at HDFive, you have to have that voice. That voice is like, welcome to HDFive. How may I help you? And then if you piss us off, we're like, we like you, but we don't like you. Get the hell out. And it's one of those things, right? Like, we don't, to your face, we're exactly the person that we are in real life. And I have no filter on me. Everybody knows it. And it's like, I can't believe you just said that to him. And I'm like, I'm sick and tired of him. I remember a customer came in one time a customer that really is, the pain, the just pain in my.
Yeah, we have one.
I beat myself.
We have one.
No.
He calls
There's 2 letters and a number in his name.
There's 8 of us there, so you have 8. But he comes in and he's where's my stickers, and he's rummaging through, and I hadn't laminated them yet, and I hadn't cut them yet, and he called yesterday. And I was in the middle of my busy season where I am to the max, and I literally take the roll of stickers and I throw it at him. And I said, you figure out how to take care of this because I'm done with you. And, no, sorry, Tim, sorry. No, you already pushed me to that level. And we still do work for him to this day because I was honest with him. And you know that, but you have to be upfront to people. You have to let them know, like, hey, you're pushing, we're doing everything we can. Believe it or not, we don't just hit print. Like, it doesn't just come off a printer and there's a sticker.
Well, yeah.
Like,
it doesn't work that way.
I mean, if you got a machine that can do that for me,
Yeah, I'll sell you one today.
I'd appreciate. Yeah. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm signing the paperwork.
All right, Chad, we got to finish this up.
Yeah. This has been awesome, though.
Yeah. Hey.
First customer
You
on,
guys
though.
are cutting us off already.
It's 55 minutes.
We could have gone longer, but apparently we got a hard stop. We don't actually have a hard.
We don't have a hard stop.
It's a soft stop.
But I have to go to the bathroom.
11.
That's true.
Let it go.
I got to pee.
Let it go.
Yeah, we got this math.
No, I probably need the big cup.
You've been on road trips before. Don't lie to me.
So we covered basically none of the questions, but this was an awesome podcast. So appreciate you coming on. It's kind of exactly how I expected it to go, but I felt like I should have at least a general guideline
just in case.
Yeah, in case things started going off the rails. I could try and steer them back on, which was never going to work.
Well, thank God you didn't ask me any of those questions because I had a lot to say about those questions.
Maybe we'll have him back on. We can have him back on when we need another one.
These questions, I knew what the answer to this question was. That's the reason I put it on there, but we'll save it for another one.
Yeah, we'll get it on the next one.
We don't have enough time for you to answer that question.
Yeah, so. I'm sure because there was a few of them. I had some pretty detailed.
Yeah, one was one you literally, I think you talked to me about it for 20 minutes last time I was at your shop. So I was like, I should ask him on the podcast. Yeah. This would be awesome.
Yeah.
We didn't make it there though. So we'll bring him back on.
Yeah, well,
he'll go on a 25-minute rant. It'll be awesome.
We'll do it.
That'll be the whole podcast. We'll just do the intro. I'll ask the one question. He'll talk, and then we'll just outro and be done with
actually, we'll just get up and leave. Let him just keep rolling. He's talking to the camera. Straight to the camera.
Well, welcome to HDFive's podcast. Thank you for joining me today. How's everybody doing out there?
Today's question is this, and then we just walk right out the door behind him.
Yeah. Hey, I know you guys. Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it. Telling our story and trying to get people understanding, like, this industry is tough. There's a lot going on. It's fairly new. I always tell people, like, the wrap industry is only 25, 30 years old, really. So which is fairly new as an industry. And we got to stick together. We got to start building this instead of downgrading it. We got to be better for each other. And like, that's the Wensco HDFive. You guys know, you guys come to my shop. I got Wensco on the windows. I'm branded Avery Dennison, Noah Gregson, a buddy of mine that I do a bunch of work for in the NASCAR stuff. Like, we put all the brands out there. We're in all the videos. We're having fun. Like, that's what this conversation was meant to be. I think a lot of people that know us will watch it and be like, you guys literally were just serious for a whole hour together. Like,
it's a miracle.
Yeah, normally it's
58 minutes we've been here.
Yeah, so
it's been mostly on the rails the whole time, so it's pretty impressive. But yeah, seriously, thanks for coming on.
So we're not doing rapid fire or anything. We're getting kicked off.
Next time.
We have a lot of questions, so we got a whole nother episode in here easily. So
we'll
bring you back on
easily.
We don't have a lot. We don't have a lot in the pipeline, so maybe soon.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe I'm gonna pee, and we're gonna start right back over.
Yeah, we're
on a roll.
Hey, the camera's already set up. Welcome to HDFive.
We got our 11 o'clock, and we just come right back.
Seriously Sign podcast. What's going on, everybody? This is Tim Horvath from HDFive.
Yeah, he's gonna actually just do the next one.
Here's my guest, Mike from Wensco. How you doing today, Mike? What's the S stand for?
Service.
Slightly serious.
Serious. Yeah, it stands for Slightly Serious Sign
Co.
Company Podcast.
Wensco. Welcome to Wensco.
The Wensco podcast.
Yeah, I would love to, you guys. Thank you so much. Like it was fun to just kind of chat and be serious for a minute and have a little bit of fun. And maybe the next one we'll have a few more beeps and, you know, instead of Monster, maybe I'll drink a Coors Light before I start that.
A later episode.
Alrighty. We're all set then.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you.
Hopefully you loved it. See you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.